La la la, hey, yeah, yeah.
Welcome back to Daytime here on Rogers Television. Well, we were just speaking about going green in your house with your cleaning products and what have you, but we also need a green house. It's very important to have that these days, and it's quite a trend happening, and Ecoteriors knows everything that you need to learn. And joining us is Alicia Beath, as she does every month. It's great to see you, Alicia.
You too. Nice to be
From
back.
Ecoteriors. Well, Alicia, I think today, I mean, every time you come, you give us great tips on, examples on things to include in our homes, but we really haven't taken the time to talk about hiring someone to help make these eco-friendly decisions. And it is important, really, because, I mean, it's a great thing to do. My first question for you is, what are some of the benefits to hiring a professional in making these kinds of decisions?
Well, there's obviously many benefits. The first thing is saving you money and time. Right away, people think hiring a professional, it's going to cost me tons of extra money, but really it's not the case. They will save you money in the long run. So they'll save you from costly mistakes, time. Decorating your house is so time consuming, trying to find the products, where do I go, going back and forth. So having a decorator go out, they know exactly where to go. They already see this stuff on a daily basis. They do it all the time. So they're going to know right away where you can find some things that are going to look good in your home. And again, saving you time and money when...
No, I was going to say, that's a really good point, because I don't think people take that into consideration enough, where they think, oh, I can't afford to have an interior decorator help me. I can't afford that. That's a huge expense. But when you think about, I mean, I know myself how many times well, my husband knows too, how many times I put the wrong color paint on the wall or whatever.
All of
and
that.
you just end up spending the same amount of money anyway.
And it's bad for the environment to keep doing things over and over again, because you just can't get it right. So get it right the first time. The most common problem I see is people pull me in after the fact. So they've already spent all of their money on one area of their home and then realize they have no money left to do the rest of their house. So the money part is very important. If you work with a professional, they're going to be able to, figure out where money needs to be allocated before you even spend it. And then you've got a plan of action in place.
Is there kind of a starting point for people? Like, you know what I'm saying? Obviously, if you're doing something small, like you're, changing your furniture in your house, or cushions and stuff, like, where's that starting point? When should somebody sort of sit back and say, you know what, I think I need a professional to help me here?
Well, this kind of goes into the next thing, is interior decorators help solve problems. So I really always suggest people just have a 1-hour consultation, and that's all you need to do. There's no commitment. You don't have to pay somebody, tons of money, just 1 hour. And they'll come in and they'll just listen to what you have to say.
Okay.
So things that irritate you, that you just don't know how to change yourself, and then the decorator can give you a whole bunch of suggestions of what needs to be done. Toss cushions will add color in this, and they'll only cost you this much. You should look here. So I mean, it's just quick and easy sometimes. Bigger things can be very overwhelming. So those you definitely want to plan out properly and set your budget in place.
Again, it seems like we're saving money again in the long run, because maybe a professional could suggest smaller things to achieve the same result that we're looking to achieve, right?
You want the biggest,
knocking out walls or whatever.
You always want the biggest impact for your money. So maybe you don't have to spend a lot to get a dramatic change. So that's key.
So before you make that initial phone call for your consultation, how should you prepare yourself beforehand?
Well, you should sit down with your partner, and this is the biggest problem people have, is determining what they want for their home together. There's always conflict, but whether it's color or style. So a decorator has to act as a mediator or a counselor first, and trying to find a solution that's going to be beneficial for everybody. But if you're looking for somebody, don't just hire the first person you chat with. You should always give them a phone call and have a lengthy conversation with them. Make sure that they are going to be the right person for you. The relationship between a decorator and a client is a very personal one, because you're going into somebody's personal space with their personal belongings. So you have to make sure you're very respectful towards that as well.
So when we call and we make this long conversation, or we make our appointment, what sort of questions, like if Derek and I were going to see you for the first time and we're having our first appointment, what sort of questions should we be asking?
The very first one, I guess, would be qualifications, and we'll go into that in a little bit. But you want to make sure that they have the right qualifications to even do what you want done.
Right.
So you want to double check that. You want to check what their hourly rate is, or maybe they work on a flat rate, however that works. You want to see what their charges are, and you want to make sure there's no hidden costs. You want to be able to know right up front what you're looking at. And don't explain to the decorator what you want done and then say, is that something you can do? Yes, yes it is. I'll be at your house tomorrow, right?
Yeah.
Say, so out of everything I've just explained to you, out of what can you do? And then they'll have to recap to you, well, I can help you choose your colors, I can help you do this, I can help you do that, but I can't help you with your renovation. Okay, good. So I need to look for a second person for that, or somebody altogether. So you need to really be specific, because some people may just tell you, sure, I can do it, and then they'll be over.
Well, that leads to an obvious question. How do you know that it's a professional on the other end of the line?
Right, so there's 5 ways that you can tell if somebody is a professional interior decorator. The first one is to ask to see a certificate from their institution that they graduated from. It may not come to that. You may be able to just tell by talking to them, but don't feel uncomfortable about having to ask for that. And if you're not familiar with the school,
what if we don't know what the schools are?
Yeah, if you're not familiar with the school, then investigate a little bit and see what the qualifications are to graduate. So that's always a good way to know. Are they part of a professional organization? That might be a way to know. Decorators, the biggest organization is CDECA, which is the Canadian Decorators Association, and they just represent professionals on a national level. It's a not-for-profit association, and decorators and designers have to attend monthly meetings. They have to participate in ongoing education, and especially in this industry, it's changing all of the time. So you want to make sure that your decorator or designer is up to date with all of the product knowledge and what's happening out there.
All right, number 3?
Number 3 is, how long have they been in the industry? So obviously I am not a 20-year veteran of doing this.
Right.
I'm very young, but I have to do a lot of other things to make up for that. So I am part of the Canadian Decorators Association, so that type of thing. So you want to make sure how long.
Well, we're going to get you to hold 4
Perfect.
and 5, okay?
That's
Because
right.
we have to take a really
No
quick
problem.
break, but we'll come back with that, and we'll also talk about what you're up to at the home show
Thank
this
you.
weekend. We'll be right back after this.